Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Vic Morrow. Vic Morrow was an American actor and director whose credits include a starring role in the 1960s television series Combat, prominent roles in a handful of other television and film dramas, and numerous guest roles on television. Morrow and two child actors were killed in 1982 by a stunt helicopter crash during the filming of Twilight Zone, the movie. Morrow also gained notice for his roles in movies like Blackboard Jungle, God's Little Acre, Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, and The Bad News Bears. Personal life. Morrow was born Victor Morozov in the New York City borough of the Bronx, to a middle-class Jewish family. He was a son of Harry Morozov, an electrical engineer, and his wife, Jean Morozov. Morrow dropped out of high school when he was 17, and enlisted in the United States Navy. In 1958, Morrow married actress and screenwriter Barbara Turner. They had two daughters, Carrie Ann Morrow, and actress Jennifer Jason Leigh. Morrow's marriage to Barbara ended in divorce after 7 years. He married Gail Lester in 1975, but they separated just prior to Morrow's death. Morrow fell out with his daughter Jennifer Jason after his divorce from her mother. She changed her last name to Lee to avoid being publicly associated with Morrow. They were still estranged at the time of his death. Rick Jason, co-star of Combat, wrote in his memoirs. Career. Morrow's first movie role was in Blackboard Jungle. In 1958 he starred alongside Elvis Presley and an all-star supporting cast in the movie King Creole, directed by Michael Curtiz. Morrow's career then expanded, after which he went into television. Later, he guest-starred on John Payne's NBC Western series The Restless Gun. On April 16, 1959, he appeared in the premiere of NBC's 1920s crime drama The Lawless Years in the episode The Nick Joseph Story. Morrow then appeared from 1960-1961 as Joe Cannon in 3 episodes of NBC's The Outlaws with Barton McLean. On October 6, 1961, he appeared in an episode of the ABC drama series Target, The Corruptus, with Stephen McNally and Robert Harland. He appeared in 2 episodes of The Untouchables, The Rifleman, and Bonanza. He was cast in the early Bonanza episode The Avenger as a mysterious figure known only as Lassiter, named after his town of origin, who arrives in Virginia City and helps save Ben and Adam Cartwright from an unjust hanging, while eventually gunning down one sought-after man, revealing himself as a hunter of a lynch mob who killed his father. Having so far killed about half the mob, he rides off into the night in an episode that resembles the later Clint Eastwood film High Plains Drifter. Morrow later appeared in the 3rd season Bonanza episode The Tin Badge. Combat. Morrow was cast in the lead role of Sergeant Chip Saunders in ABC's Combat, a World War II drama which aired from 1966 to 1967. Pop culture scholar Gene Santoro has written, TV's longest-running World War II drama was really a collection of complex 50-minute movies. Salted with battle sequences, they follow a squad's travails from D-Day on a gritty ground-air view of men trying to salvage their humanity and survive. Melodrama, comedy and satire come into play as top-billed Lieutenant Hanley and Sergeant Saunders lead their men toward Paris. The relentlessness hollows anti-hero Saunders out. At times, you can see the tombstones in his eyes. His friend and fellow actor on Combat, Rick Jason, described Morrow as a master director who directed one of the greatest anti-war films I've ever seen. He was referring to the 2-part episode of Combat, entitled Hills Are for Heroes, which was written by Gene L. Kuhn. Other work. Morrow also worked as a television director. Together with Leonard Nimoy, he produced a 1966 version of Death Watch, an English-language film version of Jean Genet's play Surveillance adapted by Morrow, and Barbara Turner directed by Morrow and starring Nimoy. After Combat ended, he worked in several films. Morrow appeared in 2 episodes of Australian-produced anthology series The Evil Touch, one of which he also directed. He memorably played the wily local sheriff in director John Hoff's road classic Dirty Mary Crazy Larry, as well as the homicidal sheriff alongside Martin Sheen in the television film The California Kid, and had a key role as aggressive, competitive baseball coach Roy Turner in the comedy The Bad News Bears. He also played Injun Joe in the television film Tom Sawyer, which was filmed in Upper Canada Village. A musical version was released in theaters that same year. Morrow wrote and directed a spaghetti western produced by Dino De Laurentiis titled A Man Called Sledge, and starring James Garner, Dennis Weaver and Claude Akins. After Death Watch, it was Morrow's first, and only, big screen outing behind the camera. Sledge was filmed in Italy, with desert-like settings that were highly evocative of the southwestern United States. Morrow also appeared in Hawaii Five-0, The Streets of San Francisco, McCloud and Sarge, among many other television guest roles. In 1971, Vic Morrow starred in a television movie produced by QM Productions for CBS entitled Travis Logan DA. This movie was a pilot for a proposed weekly legal series in which he was to star. While many critics liked the series, the ratings were low, and the pilot was never sold as a series. Twilight Zone, the movie and death. In 1982, Morrow was cast in a feature role in Twilight Zone, the movie, in a segment directed by John Landis. Morrow was playing the role of Bill Connor, a racist who is taken back in time and placed in various situations where he would be a persecuted victim, as a Jewish Holocaust victim, a black man about to be lynched by the Ku Klux Klan, and a Vietnamese man about to be killed by U.S. soldiers. In the early morning hours of July 23, 1982, Morrow and 2 children, 7-year-old Micah Dinler and 6-year-old Renee Shin-Yi Chen, were filming on location in California in what had been known as Indian Dunes near Santa Clarita. They were performing in a scene for the Vietnam sequence in which their characters attempt to escape from a pursuing U.S. Army helicopter out of a deserted Vietnamese village. The helicopter was hovering at about 24 feet above them when pyrotechnic explosions damaged it and caused it to crash on top of them, killing all 3 instantly. Morrow and Le were decapitated by the helicopter rotor, while Chen was crushed by a helicopter strut. Landis and 4 other defendants, including pilot Dorsey Wingo, were ultimately acquitted of involuntary manslaughter after a nearly 9-month trial. The parents of Le and Chen sued and settled out of court for an undisclosed amount. Morrow's children also sued and settled for an undisclosed amount. Morrow is interred in Hillside Memorial Park Cemetery in Culver City, California. Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Would you like to know more?